They say love is blind, but what if it's not blindness? What if it's just selective perception, seeing only what the heart allows the eyes to notice? Let's be real. Love in the modern world often looks like emojis, late night memes, and algorithm-friendly affection. But the kind of love that rewires a woman's soul, that's not something you can swipe into or buy with a fancy dinner. It's quieter, slower, and far more dangerous. So here's a question that most men quietly carry but rarely say out loud. How do you actually know if a woman truly loves you? Not if she likes you, not if she's infatuated with your vibe, but if she's spiritually, emotionally, neurologically tethered to you. How can you tell? You won't find the answer in cliches or candlelit dinners. And if you think it's in the way she holds your hand at the movies or tags you in cute couple memes, you're missing the entire point. The truth beneath the surface: genuine love is not loud. It's in the glitches, the pauses, the silences that last one heartbeat longer than they should. When she turns away just a little too slowly, when her smile falters for a split second after you said something off, when she forgets to hide what she feels. See, when a woman truly loves you, she doesn't always say it, but she leaks it in her tone, in the shift of her breathing, in how she fidgets when you're near, not out of nervousness, but because your presence disrupts her emotional patterns like a pebble thrown into still water. This isn't poetry. This is biology. It's neuroscience. According to a 2018 study from the University of California, people in love actually begin to synchronize brainwave patterns during conversation. That means your mere presence changes her literally. Her neurons don't fire the same when you're in the room. Her thoughts move differently, even if her lips are silent. Now pause for a moment and think about that. You're scrolling Reddit at 2 a.m., lost in a spiral of doubt, wondering, does she love me or just love not being alone? You deserve more than guesswork. You deserve clarity. No fairy tales, just signals. This isn't a rom-com. This isn't relationship fluff or pickup trickery. This is reality stripped bare. So I'm going to give you 7 signs that she's not just into you, she's entangled with you. And here's the first sign. But before that, let me ask you something. Are you the kind of man who wants surface level affirmation? Or do you want to understand what most men never will, the soul of feminine love, in all its beautiful, terrifying depth? If you're still here, I know which one you are. I've created a members-only space for men like you, a place for unfiltered truths, the kind that get demonetized, flagged, or misunderstood by the masses. It's personal, it's raw, and it's real. If you're ready to go deeper, check the link in the description or the pinned comment. Now, back to that first sign. Sign number 1, when love feels like war. You'd think love would be peaceful, wouldn't you? But when a woman truly loves you, it can feel like emotional war. Not petty drama, not toxic outbursts, but soul-deep battles that come from the terror of vulnerability. You might find yourself on the edge of the bed, palms open, eyes tired, listening to her say, "You don't get it. You never get it." And you're thinking, yesterday we were laughing, today it feels like we're in a courtroom. That's love, raw love, real love, love that's scared of its own depth. Why? Because love is liability. Real love exposes her. When she loves you, she's not just giving you her body, her schedule, or her weekend plans. She's giving you emotional nuclear codes. Secrets no one else has touched. The messy, the fragile, the sacred. And if she senses even for a second that you might not protect them, she panics. She fights you, not because she's dramatic, but because she's terrified. Terrified of being seen fully and then being left. You see, love like this isn't soft. It's not all hugs and pet names. It's stormy, it's confusing, it's dangerous, but it's real. The psychology of her panic. Let's break this down deeper. Psychologically, love is a form of identity death. She's losing the part of herself that was only hers, the part she controlled, guarded, managed until you came along. Now you see her laugh without thinking, cry without warning, desire without shame, and that scares her. When she argues with you like she's fighting for air, what she's really doing is trying to test one thing. Are you safe with the parts of her that aren't beautiful? That's not immaturity, that's survival. When she screams, when she says things that don't make logical sense, when her eyes burn with the fear of loss dressed up as rage, that's not being emotional. That's her inner child begging, "Don't drop me." The existential stakes of love. Søren Kierkegaard, the Danish philosopher who spent his life obsessing over the concept of love, once wrote, "The greatest hazard of all losing oneself can occur very quietly in the world as if it were nothing at all." Now read that again. When a woman loves you, she risks losing herself. And the moment she senses that the version of her that only exists in your presence might disappear, she lashes out. Not because she hates you, but because you matter too much. She's not yelling to hurt you. She's yelling to protect the most intimate version of herself, the one you now have the power to destroy, even unintentionally. So the next time you find yourself in one of those fights that seem to come out of nowhere, don't just hear the words, hear the fear beneath them. She's not fighting with you, she's fighting for you. To be continued. And that's just the first sign. There are 6 more, each one peeling back another layer of what love really means when it's not filtered through Instagram captions or storybook fantasies. So stay tuned. In the next part, we'll explore the second sign, one that most men mistake for disinterest, when in fact, it's the clearest sign of all that you've burrowed into her soul. But before we move on, take a moment. Think about a woman who argued with you, not over dishes, but over meaning, over how deeply you saw her, over what your presence did to her sense of safety. Maybe that wasn't dysfunction. Maybe that was the most honest love you've ever been given. So now you know when a woman loves you deeply, it doesn't always look like peace. Sometimes it looks like a storm, like conflict that isn't born of anger, but of fear. The fear of handing her soul to someone who could, in a single moment of carelessness, crush it. But here's what comes next. She's not fighting because she wants to hurt you. She's fighting because she's scared of disappearing into the intensity of her own love for you. That's the paradox. The woman who truly, genuinely loves you may at times become the most difficult person to be with, not because she's difficult by nature, but because every step closer to you means letting go of the walls she's spent a lifetime carefully building. Every argument, every emotional reaction that feels too much, every dramatic response to what looks like a small misunderstanding, these aren't random outbursts. They're silent prayers in disguise. Her subconscious is screaming, "Please don't make me regret opening my heart to you." Now let's talk about sign 2. And it's one of the rawest truths of all. She shows you her ugly without warning. There's a moment in every real relationship that no one posts about. No one turns into TikToks. No one captures with romantic background music. It's not the first kiss. It's not the first "I love you." It's when she lets you see the part of her she's ashamed of. The part she swore no one would ever get close enough to witness. And no, I'm not talking about her in sweatpants or without makeup. I'm talking about the emotional underbelly, the chaos, the wounds, the history she's tried to bury so deeply that even she forgot where some of the scars came from. It's that moment when she cracks, and not in a dramatic way, but in a completely unguarded way. The moment when she tells you about the father who never stayed, the friend who twisted trust into betrayal, the relationship that broke her and made her swear never to trust again. It might not come with warning signs. Sometimes it happens casually in the kitchen while she's slicing vegetables and a memory slices through her instead. Sometimes it's late at night, when her head is on your chest and she whispers something she's never spoken out loud. Sometimes it's mid-laughter, when a flash of the past hijacks her joy, and you see it her breath catch, her eyes dim for a second, her soul take a step back. And in that moment, her mind races with fear. Will you still want me now that you've seen this part of me? Will you retreat? Will you start seeing me differently, colder, smaller, weaker? Because here's the painful twist. She wants you to stay. She desperately wants you to hold her and say it's okay. But she's also watching, testing, trying to find out, are you the kind of man who can handle her shadows, not just her light? Philosophically, love isn't just about attraction. Love is exposure. It's a stripping away of all the performances. And when a woman gives you the raw, unpolished, unscripted version of herself, she's not trying to be dramatic. She's trying to find someone who can love her without conditions. We are all mosaics of beauty and brokenness. The version of ourselves we show the world is curated, photoshopped, rehearsed, trimmed down to the highlights. But when someone really loves you, they stop curating. They stop editing. They let you walk into the editing room, the place where all the cuts, flaws, and discarded moments lie. And that moment when she finally whispers, "This is who I really am," is the most dangerous line in any relationship. But it's also the most sacred, because the most powerful thing you can do in return is not flinch. That's what she's doing when she shows you her ugly. She's handing you the part she's most afraid of. She's risking rejection on a level that's hard to describe. And she's watching to see, will the man who loved her when she sparkled still recognize her in the dark? And if you've never seen this side of her, if she's never let herself crack around you, maybe you should ask yourself a deeper question. Have you ever made her feel like her imperfections were welcome? Because here's what most men don't realize. A woman who loves you doesn't need to be adored. She needs to be accepted. Not in the version that always smells like strawberries and laughs at all your jokes. Not in the filtered photos or curated dates, but in the version of her who spirals, who overthinks, who self-sabotages and sometimes can't explain why. That's the real her. And that's the version she'll show only to the man who's proven that he can hold the weight of her truth. So if you're wondering whether she's in love with you, don't look at how flawless she appears. Don't judge by the romantic gestures or the sweet texts. Look at when she's broken. Look at when she's messy. Look at when she loses her composure and chooses to let you see it anyway. Because that's not just love, that's trust, that's soul-level commitment. And if you can hold her, then truly hold her without fixing, without retreating, without shame, you'll have earned a place in her world that no charm or confidence ever could. When she finally lets you see her unfiltered self, the version of her that never makes it to Instagram, the one hidden behind the curated smiles, it's not just a moment of vulnerability, it's a plea. A silent, sacred hope that you won't flinch, that you won't run, that you'll stay even after you've seen the side of her that she was taught to hide. And if you do stay, if you hold that moment gently, you'll begin to notice something else. Something even quieter, but just as powerful. Sign 3. She remembers the details you forgot you ever said. Most people listen to respond. Some listen to judge. But when a woman truly loves you, she listens to remember. And no, we're not talking about the obvious things like your birthday or your favorite pizza order. This goes much deeper. It's that offhanded story you once told her late at night, half asleep, about how your dad used to drive with the windows down on Sunday mornings playing Springsteen. You barely even remember telling her. But then one random afternoon you get into her car and there it is, windows down, Springsteen on the stereo. No words, no look what I did, just her loving you in silence, in presence, in memory. That's not coincidence. That's love. When a woman is in love, she doesn't just store facts. She collects pieces of you, fragments of your soul, echoes of your past. She notices when your voice tightens after a call with your boss. She remembers the name of your childhood dog and treats it like a sacred secret. She remembers how you take your coffee, not just the cream and sugar, but the why. Because your grandfather drank it that way, and that connection still lives in you. That's not romantic fluff. That's intimacy. Because love isn't built on grand gestures. Love is stitched together in the smallest details, in the micro memories, the mundane, the unnoticed. It's proof that she sees you not just as someone to be with, but as someone to witness. Now think about that. In a world where people forget their own appointments, where attention spans are measured in seconds, where digital noise drowns out emotional depth, someone choosing to remember you is one of the most radical, sacred acts of love. And here's where we go deeper into philosophy. True love is attention. And attention, in its purest form, is the currency of presence. When she remembers the things you forgot you even shared, she's not just showing affection, she's showing presence. She's telling you, I'm here, I've been here, I see you. That kind of memory doesn't happen by accident. It takes energy, it takes emotional bandwidth, and it only happens when your presence matters enough for her to carry it. So if she's remembering, you're not just in her mind, you're in her soul. Now let's talk about sign 4. She challenges your comfort because she sees your depth. This is the part most men misunderstand. We're taught that love should feel like safety, that if she's into you, she'll make you feel comfortable. But love, real love, is not a warm bath. It's more like a wildfire, beautiful, necessary, uncontrollable, and designed to either grow you or burn away the parts of you that no longer serve. When a woman genuinely loves you, she won't just stroke your ego. She'll confront your complacency, not because she wants to control you, but because she believes in you. And that belief, it shows up in uncomfortable ways. She'll ask you the hard questions, the ones that make you squirm. She'll challenge the convenient excuses you've lived by for years. She'll call out when you downplay your gifts just to blend in with people who can't meet your potential. She won't let you shrink. Because she's not loving the man you are today, she's in love with the man you could become. She sees the trajectory of your life, not just a snapshot. And she refuses to pretend that the smaller version of you is enough. Now, here's the trap. If you mistake this challenge for nagging, if your ego gets bruised and calls her critical or too much, you'll miss the miracle. Because love doesn't coddle. Love calls you out, not to belittle, but to awaken, to elevate. When she pushes you to show up better, when she refuses to tolerate mediocrity in you, it's not because she's disappointed, it's because she believes. And that kind of belief, that kind of fire in a woman's eyes that says, I won't let you waste your potential, that's devotion, not drama. If she's the kind of woman who doesn't let you lie to yourself, who sees the gap between who you are and who you're capable of becoming, that's not her being difficult. That's her loving you with clarity. And if you're lucky enough to have that kind of love, hold it. Fight for it. Because it's rare. Sign 5. She defends you when you're not in the room. Let's flip the lens for a moment. Picture this. Your name comes up in a room. You're not there. Someone says something off, maybe a subtle jab, maybe a half joke with a sting. What does she do? Does she smile awkwardly and stay quiet? Or does she speak? When a woman truly loves you, her loyalty isn't for show. It's not performative. It's not about defending you on social media or tagging you in supportive posts. It's about those private moments when no one is watching and she still chooses to protect your name. She corrects misstatements. She softens unfair tones. She speaks your truth, even if just with a glance or a quiet redirection. Because when she loves you, your name is sacred, and she will not let it be dragged, distorted, or disrespected, not even in casual conversation. That's not pride, that's protection. So, we just uncovered a powerful truth. When she defends your name behind closed doors, When she protects your dignity in the moments you'll never witness, that's not romance, that's reverence. Real love doesn't always show itself in what's posted, but in what's protected. Now let's keep going. Because love, when it's real, doesn't just stay in the present moment. It expands into time, into thought, into the shape of what could be. Sign 6. She imagines a future, and you're still in it. You want to know if a woman loves you? Pay attention to how she talks about the future. And I don't mean the dreamy, someday we'll go to Paris kind of fantasies. I'm talking about the unfiltered, offhanded comments that come out when she's not trying to impress you. The way she says we should try that place sometime. Or how she casually mentions repainting her apartment and pauses to ask, do you think this color would feel more like us? She's not offering you a proposal. She's not forcing commitment. What she's doing is letting you know you've been quietly added to her timeline. When she picks up your favorite snacks at the store without asking, when she brings up ideas for next Christmas and uses the word we instead of I, she's revealing something sacred. She sees the next chapters of her life, and you're in the margins, the footnotes, the spine. And most of the time, she's not even aware she's doing it. Because when love is real, the future becomes an instinct. It's no longer something she builds alone. It becomes a co-authored space. One that neither of you have to define with labels or milestones because it's already unfolding through intention. That's the part people miss. Love doesn't need certainty. It needs presence and it needs willingness. And the deeper truth, she's not saying, I need you to survive. That's not love, that's dependency. She's saying, I want to create something with you because this version of life feels more authentic, more aligned, more us. But here's your flashlight. If she never mentions the future, even in small ways, it may not mean she doesn't care. But it does mean her heart hasn't started building a home that includes you. Because when a woman is in love, her feelings don't stay in the now. They ripple. They spill forward in time. Her heart leaks into someday, into next season, next spring, next version of herself. She's not planning a fairy tale. She's planting you in the soil of what's next. And that's no small thing. Sign 7. She loves you even while you're still becoming. Let's be honest. Maybe you're not yet the man you want to be. Maybe your life still feels like a draft full of unfinished paragraphs, messy chapters, and unresolved footnotes. Your dreams might be clear, but your roadmap, still blurry. You've got habits you're not proud of, wounds you haven't fully healed, plans without a fixed deadline. And yet, she stays. Not out of pity, not out of fear, but because she sees something in you, most people overlook the work in progress, the becoming. She's not falling in love with the polished product. She's showing up for the process. That's a different kind of love. It's rarer. It's harder. It's braver. Because most people love the result. They show up when it's all figured out. When you've made it, when the money's right, the emotions are stable, and the baggage is checked. But she's signing up for the unwritten story. She loves the messy middle not because she's settling, but because she understands something most people don't. None of us are ever really finished. She's not grading you on how quickly you become the man. She's not impatiently waiting for you to become someone else. She's holding space for the in-between, for the human, for the one who stumbles, who doubts, who falls apart sometimes and tries again. She knows there will be days when you lose your temper, or go silent, or withdraw into yourself. She's seen your shadows, she's felt your fear. She knows your anxiety isn't always rational, but she doesn't run. Because love, true love, doesn't demand perfection. It asks for presence. She's the one who stays even when you've disappointed yourself. She's the one who still reaches for your hand when your confidence is cracked. She doesn't look away when you're messy, she looks closer. And when your darkness starts to swell, she doesn't panic. She brings a flashlight. She's not trying to rescue you. She's not here to fix you. She's walking with you, beside you, while you learn to fix yourself. And maybe that's the twist you didn't see coming. Not a woman who loves who you used to be. Not someone who's waiting for who you'll eventually become. But someone who chooses to love you right now, in all your contradictions, complexity, and chaos. And if you've got that, don't just hold it. Build her a kingdom. If something in your gut clicked during this video, if you felt a deeper truth echo in the parts of you that don't get talked about in public, I want to invite you into something different. We've created a private members only room. It's not loud, no flexing, no ego, just men like you, thinkers, feelers, builders. It's where we talk not just about women, but about power, about peace, about presence, about becoming the kind of man who doesn't just attract love, but deserves it. Inside, we explore how to stay grounded in chaos, how to lead without force, how to build something inside yourself that no one can take from you. So if this resonated, if it landed not in your head, but in your chest, don't just scroll on. Check the link in the description or the pinned comment. If you're one of the ones who get it, I'll see you on the inside. And if not, that's okay too. But remember what you just heard, because someday someone will come along and show you these signs. And when they do, I hope you're ready.